I'm Hilda Mary Tadria, the Executive Director of MEMPROW, which I started 10 years ago. When I started MEMPROW, I thought the issue was simply going to schools and working with a few girls. But down the road, after visiting one or two schools, we actually found that the challenge of girls, of students in schools, was violence.
I'm really thankful for MEMPROW because of MEMPROW I was able to graduate. I was sexually harassed in my final year at university by one of the lecturers who was called Mr. It was really, really hard for me to open up to anyone, but through thick and thin, I really tried to look for solutions. I went to different people in MEMPROW. I talked to them. I asked them what I could really do. So it's not until at some point I had to confide in Dr. Hilda Tadria. I tried to write to the university officially, giving them a formal sexual harassment complaint. It's only by the power of MEMPROW that I was able to be helped. We were also able to get my marks from the lecturer, even when they had been withheld. And I'm really thankful because if I had not gone to MEMPROW, I don't think I would have graduated.
Over the last 10 years, we now can boast of reaching almost 10,000 girls and boys. Our space welcomes boys.
My name is Prince Noah Nataja. I joined the MEMPROW when I was introduced by a friend when I was working in the Good Needs Center. People may think MEMPROW is only for the girls because it's empowering of the women. But to me, I think even boys should come on board, so many of them, because most of the issues which affect women, we, the men, we are the cause or we are the source of those problems. One, we are ignorant of how to treat these women. Two, we think naturally that women are supposed to be suppressed. And three, I think we don't recognize their presence and we only recognize them in times of need, when we need them. For example, when you need food, that's when you realize that a woman is important.
My name is Omito Robert Steen. I live in Pakwach. I met MEMPROW in the year 2010 at National Teachers College, Muni in Arua. By then I was serving as the Secretary of State for the Girl Government of Muni NTC Arua at that time, the year 2010, as I said. And I met MEMPROW in a meeting organized by MEMPROW for the student leadership at the National Teachers College that time. We had a very great interaction on leadership skills, social survival skills. And after I left the college, when I graduated in 2010, I made a trek of MEMPROW office in Muyenga until I called them to join Navy and take the message. So they held the first training in December 2011 upon my invitation in Navy, where the training was held at St. Daniel Comboni's College, Miri, in the year 2011.
Recently, we were fortunate to be sponsored by UN Women to launch a He for She campaign in one of the cultural areas we work. And we are looking at men now actually speaking out for protection and respect of girls and women's rights.
Family quarrels, which used to be rampant, today there are not very many family quarrels in our societies because MEMPROW trained people. They talked of the badness of fighting mothers, fighting wives, or coming home when drunk, and then you get to fighting your wife, fighting your children. Today people have got this knowledge, and at least, if any, only a few people are quarreling anyhow. These are the main things that MEMPROW did for us, and they are still going on helping us by training us more. Like now, this morning we have come for a further training. which will take us 3 days.
So we have been fortunate because we actually get support for doing innovative work, but at the same time we are very fortunate in having partners who understand that changing cultural mindsets, empowering girls, all require long term, all of which have supported us to make sure that we stay long with communities we work with. When we take an issue, they support us long enough to be able to make a difference. And I would like to really say sincerely that we are very lucky and we appreciate all our partners who have supported us in this work. There are so many other reasons why our work has been accepted. The first reason is that we tell every single girl, every single boy who comes to us that we will work with them one person at a time. We do not classify problems as everybody's problems, but we recognize there are girls who need special attention, girls who are sexually violated, girls who are experiencing physical and emotional violence, girls who just have such low self-esteem. Our motto is one girl at a time.
My name is Barbara Adibo. I come from the eastern part of Uganda called Teso, and I'm a procurement specialist. I work with KPMG. Before I joined MEMPROW, actually I got to meet MEMPROW in 2008 when I was in Navisonsa Girls School. I was in S5. I remember it was November. But I will take you through before I met MEMPROW, my life before MEMPROW. I was a very timid, shy girl. Despite growing up in a family of boys, I thought that would prepare me for the harsh realities of life. But for some reason, I did not find myself. I did not realize who I was. So when I was in high school, I sort of tried to portray an image that was not me. I tried to join the basketball team. I tried to find an identity. But when I joined MEMPROW in S5, MEMPROW sort of opened my eyes to realize who I was. There was a training that was organized. It was a social survival skills training. It was 5 days. A lot of things were taught, including leadership, sexual reproductive health, values of a good leader, and very many things that taught me how to be assertive. I usually call that story that I always tell people, from Barbara to Lady Barbara, because from that training I started seeing myself in a different light. I did not try to disguise myself and get my identity from something else, from being a basketballer, but I started seeing myself as me. Whereas my story is not the generic story of at home we are being mistreated as an only girl. That is not my kind of story, but my story is about the power of self-realization. That is what my story is. So after I joined MEMPROW, my life changed. I started seeing things differently. I started enrolling for leadership positions in school. I became a routine prefect. I started participating in activities, and that continued even when I joined the university. I joined Kyambogo University in 2010. At Kyambogo, I was also active. I started enrolling in activities around the university. I became the first female vice president of the Kyambogo Procurement Students Association. I continued being involved in MEMPROW activities. I used to come for the dialogues. I used to MC. And while doing that, I started now, I think, teaching other girls what MEMPROW taught me. I think I realized that if I'm given a candle, I think I can pass it on to someone else and light it. And it does not mean that mine will grow dimmer, but another person can at least get to experience what MEMPROW has done in my life.
Dr. Hilda, thank you so much.
But we also want to make sure that when a MEMPROW girl is finally out of school, they can become leaders with integrity, leaders who are knowledgeable, and leaders who are really passionate about women's rights and gender equality.
For that, because of MEMPROW's work and effort in my life, I chose to be more advocating for the girl child rights and women, and that's why I can proudly say I'm an advocate.
My name is Aero Lillian Olok. I hold a bachelor's degree in social work and community development. Right now I run my own organization called Generate for Generations, work with single mothers, widows and teenage mothers in my community.
Another major objective of this organization is to make sure that, for me as a feminist, we have young people who work with feminist principles.
My name is Sandra Riza. Before I joined MEMPROW, I was just a girl going through